I'm joined today with Australian middleweight champion Youssef Khaled.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, all the way from Melbourne.
Yes, from Melbourne.
MashaAllah. So we've been actually back and forth recently, and we thought doing this pod will be maybe in season 2, but subhanallah, all of a sudden you're in Sydney.
Finally, it worked out.
It worked out.
There was a gathering, so I came straight away from.
Yeah, you did. You were very
Melbourne.
responsive and easy to get to, mashallah. Since I followed your journey, mashallah, you just came back from one of the most amazing places on earth.
It was Umrah. Yeah.
Umrah Mubarak.
It was Allah Barik Fik.
Habibi.
The most amazing trip I've been on.
MashaAllah.
Honestly,
First time?
First time, but definitely not my last. Like, I'll be going,
Inshallah.
inshallah, every year.
Inshallah. Wow. I'd love to one day share that journey with you.
Inshallah.
And
Inshallah next year.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll put the intention, inshallah. I'll put that clause out there that this is the first time I meet you too.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Lovely to meet you.
Likewise.
So looking at your journey, Youssef, Australian middleweight champion in the amateur ranks.
Yep.
And now you've turned pro.
Correct.
But I'm a bit confused.
Tell me.
Are you an MMA fighter, boxer, nutritionist, personal trainer? Mashallah. What are you and what do you do?
I'm a boxer.
Yep.
Then I have my business. So my business, I'm a nutritionist and a personal trainer. Mainly a nutritionist, where I do online. Like, I look after international clients, national clients. I actually have some clients from Sydney as well.
Nice.
That's my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then personal training every now and then. I work with a lot of like NDIS. So so like autism, someone that might have like some sort of problem where they can't walk. I've had a lot of clients that couldn't walk. Alhamdulillah, now they're jumping. So
MashaAllah.
that's good. Or like even nutrition, like I had a client with cancer, for example. I had to run him through his chemo. So it's a lot more on the medical side, like dealing with people with illnesses, rather than just the general bodybuilding.
Okay. And when we're talking about your boxing career, how long have you been training for to become a boxer?
Not that long. I've been a boxer for probably 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
My whole life I was a soccer player.
Yeah, you're left winger.
No, I was keeper.
Keeper?
Yeah, I was a keeper.
The Google search was wrong then.
Yeah, no.
So they had you as left wing.
Yeah, no, I was a
And
goalkeeper.
you made it all the way through to where? Playing soccer?
I got pretty high in soccer as well. I played in Spain. Play here for Victoria. I played for the Victorian team.
The A-League?
Not
Or the
the
NPL?
A-League. I trained with the A-League team.
Yeah, train on squad.
But I don't know, injuries just kept me back. I was injured every single
Decimated
year.
you, huh?
Yeah, so I ended up cracking my pelvis, and since then I couldn't really play anymore.
Cracking your pelvis.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything happens for a reason.
I had a knee reconstruction at 16.
Yeah,
And I thought I was going to be an elite athlete. After that, I said, I'm not going to bother.
yeah.
I lost all my speed after that, even when I came back.
It's hard.
Yeah.
The knee is one thing that doesn't come back.
No, it doesn't, right?
Doesn't come back. The knee and the pelvis, because I've injured my knee as well. I dislocated my knee probably 3 times.
Oh, from soccer?
Yeah, tore my patella. If I tell you all the injuries I've had, you'll think I'm a write-off. I'm a
MashaAllah.
car write-off.
MashaAllah.
From my skull to my toes, I've injured everything.
But you haven't allowed that to set you back and make you drown in the well and not be able to come up. You've just persevered, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. I did for a bit. After I found out I can't really play soccer anymore, I was a bit on the depressed side, especially because I was high and I was playing seniors at a young age, getting paid money and everything. And then coming back from Spain, like opportunities were there for me. But every time I got an opportunity, I got injured.
MashaAllah.
So,
And look, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, like I didn't really have that mindset that everything happens for a reason.
Back then, yeah.
Back
You were
then, I was
younger.
young. I was, when I stopped playing soccer, it was just before COVID, so I was probably 19, 20.
How old were you when you were in Spain?
Fresh 18. So I turned 18 in November, I went up to Spain in December. Just finished T12, it was amazing. That was the best experience.
And where'd you go in Spain?
I was in Valencia, based in Valencia.
So for the Valencia A team?
Yeah.
In the Serie A?
Yeah, under 21s.
Under 21s Valencia?
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
That
Was
was-
it a scout or how did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, it was Serene Academy.
So these academies work?
Alhamdulillah, it worked for me. But
Okay. Like you find that some of these sometimes the academy, it's
a lot of
gimmick.
them are money.
Yeah,
scandals.
money back then
Yeah,
is
yeah.
an agenda.
Yeah.
I tried out as far as I got was for local competition. It was called not the MPL, the one under it for the juniors.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called now. And they came and hugged me and said I was fasting at the time. I was 15. They said, "Yeah, that's it. You're in." And mate,
They're
MIA.
There's a lot of money. You pay them, they leave.
That's right.
But no, alhamdulillah, like it was. Now I got the mindset everything happens for a reason. After that incident, so
that was one of the biggest setbacks.
that was one of the biggest like wake up calls for me. Not wake up calls, but like it changed my whole perspective on life because I got injured. I'm like, khalas, like I was depressed. Like I played soccer since I was 5 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna play soccer till I'm 50, and inshallah get there, like get high. Then I got injured and I couldn't play soccer anymore. And I got upset every time I saw a soccer ball. I was, you feel it. And I got into bodybuilding, got a lot bigger than I am, and then that led into my business starting, which was during COVID. So I started my business in COVID because I was bored, pretty much.
YK Nutrition?
YK Nutrition,
I love the design, mashallah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure you've got the red and white for a reason.
Red's just my favorite color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's attractive to the eye. Usually
And that's another thing, yeah.
It indicates
It looks good
warmth
with everything.
Yeah, it does,
It looks good with everything.
So you move on from having one of the biggest setbacks of your life, and I didn't make it to the professional level like you did, or go to Spain. But after my knee reconstruction, what I did, I played a year of amateur soccer while on the waiting list. I didn't go private.
Yeah.
And it'll just give way. So I got used to it giving way, resting, back again, because I loved sport.
That's where the mentality comes in.
That's a mentality.
Yeah.
But without me realizing.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do while waiting is I'm going to start training. So post-surgery, what helped me as soon as I was off the crutches was, okay, I can't train my leg now, but I've put on 10 kilos of lean muscle. I'm just going to keep training. And by relying on Allah first and foremost and bodybuilding, it actually made me forget about my sorrows of not being able to play sport again.
That's happened to me.
Yeah. So
That's happened to me.
I can relate to your journey.
Yeah.
So
That's happened to me.
if we were to go first into boxing, your training videos are so grueling. Like I see that when you had long hair, mashallah,
You feel the sweat.
the sweat and you look tired. It looks, I know boxing, I had Billy Deeb on recently.
He's a beautiful man.
He is, yeah. And
he's an inspiration for all boxers, I believe.
He is, and I'll pass you his contact if you haven't met him. Very humble, Billy. He was talking about that training is not for the faint-hearted. Boxing, he genuinely said it on the pod that boxing, it's not fun and games. It's not for the fun-hearted. You're there and you're at risk of dying, really.
With one punch. Yourself. It's hard sport. Like sometimes after training, me and one of my best friends, he's like my teammate, and we look at each other like, why do we do this?
Wow.
Like, why do we willingly go into the ring and just spar for like 10 rounds or like run 10Ks or do whatever we do? And then we realize
do you do for 10Ks?
Run.
You run for 10Ks?
Not really. We run like 5-6Ks.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying in
you
general,
run for long distances.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do run. So like, we train twice a day. So one day it's 5K run, one day it's just sprints on the assault bike. It's always different.
So how do you schedule your conditioning as a boxer while maintaining your muscle mass? Because there's a misconception that you can't hold a certain amount of lean muscle while doing cardio.
That's very true.
I'm talking about an athlete, not a bodybuilder, because if someone wants to athlete look, they don't want to be a bodybuilder. How do they do that?
It's different. Yeah, like genetics play a big role in that. Muscle insertions, the muscle belly, like how big your muscle is. Like for example, me, I've been trying to lose as much muscle as I can. Because I got to a point where I was around 85 kilos lean.
MashaAllah.
And I was too big for boxing. Like I used to box like this, way too big. I couldn't throw punches. Like, so when I first started.
And what's your height?
Don't expose me.
It's on your record when it pops up.
5'8", I think. I actually don't know my height.
Inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about my height. But it's around 5'8", I think. But yeah, I was too big. And I couldn't throw punches. I was very slow, very sloppy. So started losing as much muscle as I can. Even now, I'm trying to lose a bit more, but it's stuck. Like that's my genetics.
So what would you say your body fat percentage is?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Probably 10.
And
10, 11.
So you walk around 10%?
I try to maintain it, yeah.
MashaAllah.
I mean, like last year, I had a fight every couple of months.
At
I had
what
to try
weight?
to maintain 75.
And how much do you cut? You know, the cutting process is grueling.
Yeah, because, I mean, alhamdulillah, it's my job. So, because it's my job, I know how to do it straight away.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's a bit easier for me. Mentally, it's a bit tiring.
Yeah.
It's like in the sauna for how long, or like water loading. Sometimes I drink up to 14 liters of water in one day.
What's water loading?
So, when I have a fight coming up, like 5 days before, the first day I'll drink around like 7 liters of water, 9 liters of water the next day, 10 liters of water the next day. And I'll go up to probably 14 the day after that. And then with a normal diet. And then I'll drop carbs and sodium the day after that, and with a high amount of water. And then I drop water to like 500 mils and go to the sauna if I need it. And my body just excretes all the extra fluid. So the body, subhanAllah, the way it works is amazing. If once homeostasis, which is like a balance for the body to survive. So when it's getting too much water when it's not getting enough water, your body holds on to water as much as it can. That's why they say you need to stay hydrated, or else you put on water retention. Because your body's holding on to as much water as it can, so you don't dehydrate and survive. Because back in the days, no one used to know when they're getting water, or
that's right.
Like back in the caveman days, they used to just, when they find water, they'll drink it. So your body holds on to as much as it can, so you don't die. And like when you're drinking excessive amount, like 12 liters, your body's like, oh, I'm going to drown. Like I need to get rid of as much water as I can. There's too much water coming in. So it starts excreting from your muscle cells, your extracellular fluid, like all the fluid you can get, it just excretes it. And it's like a sponge. You just shrink all the way down. So if you see me when I'm depleted, I'm a stick.
And you go weigh in, then what do you do after that?
I weigh in and then straight off the scale, I make like a special drink with like sodium, everything I need, carbohydrates, everything. I sip on that and then wait like an hour, start eating. Eat and eat and eat until I feel full again.
Wow, I'm absolutely stunned at the process, and you just touched briefly on what happens, not the reality of weight cutting.
Study behind it, yeah.
So you, your natural weight is, let's say, or your weight that you maintain is around 80
kilos.
80 kilos,
yeah.
And just you do all of that to cut 5 kilos.
Yeah, because I don't really want to lose more fat.
Okay.
Because the rest, your body needs a certain amount of fat.
You're strategically doing this to maintain certain amount of fat, certain amount of muscle mass.
Exactly.
Not rather
keep
than
my energy.
going skinny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I've done it before, I dropped as much fat as I can. I dropped around to 7% body fat. So it was literally nothing on me. But I've never felt worse in my life.
Okay.
I'd wake up in the morning tired, have a coffee, still tired, eat, still hungry. As much as I was eating, I was still hungry. And I got very toxic with food. I'll look at food, I'll see numbers. I wouldn't see actual food. If there was one anab in front of me, I'll be calculating how much calories is in each.
You weigh it or you put it in
put in scale, which is normal. I do that with everything. Plus, I got used to it. So if I don't eat with the scale, it becomes a bit like awkward because you get used to it.
But now it comes naturally.
Now it comes naturally, but I was very toxic with food when I was trying to stay lean. Now I enjoy life a bit more.
Okay.
Like if my mum made tabak, I'll eat it without stressing too much.
So for those who are watching the show, if they want expert elite nutrition advice, they can hit you up on YK Nutrition.
Yes.
They can write it in the comments. And this isn't a free plug. This is a genuine plug because the proof is in the pudding. I've seen your website, I've seen your page, and I've seen your changes in weight and client feedback, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, it's good.
I'm sure you'll respond to them when you see the comment, and I'll what do you call it? I'll refer them to you as well.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Inshallah.
And so I do free phone consultations. Okay. So if anyone wants a consultation just in general, some sort of educational advice, it's free consultations.
Beautiful. How do you marry or how do you weigh your boxing career and your goals in trying to become a boxer? Or I don't mean trying to become a boxer, I mean turning pro, compared to your goals of running your business and other aspects of your life?
My business does come first.
Yes.
That's my future. I'm also still studying as well.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, I am still studying. I'm doing my master's.
In?
Audiology.
So what does that entail?
Yes.
Audiology,
yeah.
Yes.
So inshallah, I want to do all of that together. So there's so much I want to do, but limited time. So yeah, my career comes first in terms of like finance, because boxing is fun. It's amazing. Alhamdulillah, there is an income from it, but it's temporary. Like how long am I going to box for realistically? So business comes first, and then boxing's after that.
Okay. And what was your bachelor?
Human physiology and anatomy.
So you love the body?
I love the body. Everything to do with health and the body, I love.
Okay.
I love. Yeah, it's fascinating. It interests me a lot.
Before we go back into the health and well-being and wellness and aspects of weight training and dieting, I'd like to go back into, let's say, an athlete, someone who's trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
They want to get stronger, put on a bit of muscle, but also be able to go for a 5K run without feeling like their knees are about to pop or the hips are about to pop. How would they schedule their training? Cardio in the morning, cardio at night, weights in the morning, weights at night?
You don't need to do weights every day.
Okay.
3 days a week of weights is plenty.
Plenty?
Plenty, yeah.
What about the bro split?
That's a misconception.
You think so?
It's a myth. If you do too much on the body, it's worse than doing less. Doing too much can cause injuries, inflammation, and doesn't let your muscle recover properly. So me personally, I touch weights 3 days a week, twice sometimes.
What do you do? Push pull? What do you do?
Not even. No, I have a special conditioning sort of regime. So it's like ball throws, one-handed kettlebells, jumps. My training is very different. It's more athletic, like boxing based. For people that want to be a hybrid, like an athlete that can run but also lift, and also look good, I'll just say train Monday, Wednesday, Friday weights, Tuesday, Thursday focus on cardio, like running.
And not even split it for 2 days a week. Not even split morning AM, PM.
Not everyone has the time for that
Nah.
or the energy for that. That takes it takes a toll on the body as well. Yeah, like if you're not focusing on recovery and nutrition, it can really set you back. So I want to say it's worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, and I had Mustafa Ayuba here. He's a brother. I'll introduce you to him as well, inshallah, when you're back in Sydney. He's a full-time PT.
Yeah.
I was telling him that I'm in love with the bro split because I've been doing it since I was 16.
I used to do the bro split.
And it just works for me. But what I do is the odd day in the week, I'll load up on the deadlift or load up on the squat by itself.
Yeah.
At the end of the week. Obviously, now heading into my 30s, I'm more smarter in terms of form, and I can't load the way I used to load.
Yeah.
But do you think the bro split is a misconception? There's smarter ways to put on weight and quicker ways to put on muscle?
It depends what you want to do. Like if we're talking about a hybrid athlete that wants to run but also lift weights, I'll say 3 days a week weight training and like 2 to 3 days doing your athletic sort of movements.
And how would you schedule it? Push, pull legs?
Push pull legs, or it depends if they're an athlete, like they play a specific sport specific training, sports based. So like for me, for example, my conditioning sessions, like my weight sessions, are boxing based. It's not muscle building based.
And that goes back to your degree in physiology, that your mind to muscle connection, you're doing particular training methods to help with your striking.
Exactly. Because if I'm lifting dumb bicep curls, it's not going to help me punch. If anything, it's going to restrict my punches. But if I'm getting if I'm ball slams, my muscle is growing because it's getting stimulated, and it's a different sort of growth. It's more like, how can I explain it? Because it's just based on that sport, and it's going to make me more explosive and help me punch.
Training.
But if I want to become a bodybuilder and become big, yeah, bro split's amazing.
Oh,
push,
it
pull,
is.
yeah. So like push pull legs.
Yeah.
And they say back and shoulders and arms for the week. Perfect. That's
you
amazing.
cater for that as well?
Of course.
So your nutrition business, you're able to tailor the diet according to one's needs.
Of course. So the way it works with me is, let's say I get a client, we do the consultation and everything works out. I send him a questionnaire to fill out, fills it out, sends it back to me. And then I personalize his nutrition program and training program based purely on the questionnaire.
One population group that often they struggle, or not struggle, but it's regarding calorie intake in and out, is a lady who's postpartum, just given birth, maybe 6 months in after giving birth. They want to go back to feeling fit, strong and healthy, especially after that 6 month period of delivering a baby. What would you recommend to them in terms of health, training, well-being?
I would say it starts from before the pregnancy. So if they're doing sport and like training and eating well before pregnancy and they're pregnant, you can still train during the pregnancy. So that's a misconception a lot of pregnant women have, that once they're pregnant, they can't do anything, they have to sit down. It's not true. I have a lot of clients that were actually pregnant while I was training them, and intensity was still pretty high. Yes, there's movements you can't do, obviously, but with caution and with responsibility, you can always train. You can keep fit until, and then you give birth. Yes, the body's going to change a bit, but you can always reverse it. It's like someone that's fat that can always get skinny, and someone that's skinny can always get fat.
What about the one who lived a normal lifestyle, moderately active, then 6 months after giving birth, she'd like to get strong, lose weight while breastfeeding, for example? How would you have her calories, because she still needs energy to feed the baby? She can't be depleted feeding the baby. She can't be in a caloric deficit, right?
Of course. That's why we'll keep her around like a moderate amount of calories, where it's sort of maintenance, probably just below maintenance, and get her doing minimal activity to start off with, because obviously the body's going to be tired. Like not minimal, but like minimal sort of training. Like light
20
sort of
minute
training. Yeah. I'll get some sort of like body weight exercises like squats, sit-ups, slowly increase until she realizes like she's not really getting sore, she's training properly, and it just becomes a habit for her. And her body's automatically going to change. You have to force the body to change. The body's not going to change itself.
Does it start in the mind? Does it start in the mind?
It starts in the mind. Yes, because our body does not care about how we look. Like our body wants to survive. Doesn't care if you have abs or if you look good for a photo. Your body does not care about that. It cares about surviving and homeostasis. So if you're not fat, but if you have a bit of weight on you, and your body's mertah, it's not going to change. If you have too much fat, you will realize yourself. If you drop your food a bit, your body will start losing weight as quick as you can, because it cares about survival. So that's why I say if anyone is training and following the nutrition properly, their body's going to be forced to change. There's no doubt about it if they're doing the right thing.
Do you find that sometimes your struggles is on the mental side rather than the actual nutrition plan?
Mental comes first. Mental comes before anything. I tell a lot of my clients
That's right.
I tell a lot of my clients, before you start any sort of nutrition plan or training plan, fix your mental state first. Like, if there's something bothering you, fix that first. Put in your mind that you want it and have your goals written out, and then start. Because if you have no end goal, you won't get there. You won't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you won't actually push yourself to it. It's like me. If I don't have a fight coming up, it's really hard for me to follow my diet. I struggle, even though it's my job when I do it. But if I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or like have something that I'm chasing, I won't do it. So like I always tell my clients, like, what do you want in 3 months? That's when I want my abs. I'm like, all right, that's our goal, that's our base. We're gonna work towards that, and I'll give them a date to work towards. Not necessarily doesn't mean they're definitely going to see abs in 3 months, but it's something they'll keep pushing. And if the 3 months come, they see abs, I'll tell them, all right, another 3 months. So just mental comes first. Mental comes first.
What do you recommend in terms of supplementation for the average individual trying to get fit, strong, and healthy?
In terms of supplementation, I get a lot of my clients sometimes if they can get blood tests.
Yes.
And we see what they're actually lacking. Like,
you analyze the blood test?
I do, yes. I analyze blood test and just any sort of testing. Because GPs, they see things in a different way. They don't actually look at the things that we look at. They look at survival.
Just health curses.
Yeah, white blood cells, hemoglobin, all that. They look at the basics.
Are you at risk of having cancer?
Yeah.
Blood pressure, those type of marks or cues.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, sometimes there's things that they don't actually look. I had a client, he had stomach pain, and he was going to the doctors, and they couldn't find what was wrong with it. Just our own sort of analyzation, we found that he had kidney stones. So sometimes they don't look into anything. They just see the basics, and that's it. You're safe. So we analyzed a bit more. And then if they need supplementation, if the vitamin D is low or whatever is low, we'll tell them to supplement on that. That's really good. But sometimes people overdo it.
What about with magnesium? Do you think like people overdo it?
Magnesium is important. I'll say before bed. But even then, people overdo everything. Like these days, people think something's good for you and just take it, even though the body point doesn't need it.
Shilajit?
Shilajit, look, there's not enough research to see if that actually works. Okay. So I don't know the research behind it yet. I hear
there's like pros and cons.
People say it's really good. People say it does nothing.
Have you heard of Alpha GPC?
No, actually, I haven't heard of that yet. Is
that
a new one?
Alpha GPC is a cognitive supplement for mental focus and brain focus. You know that fog that you get, all the blue?
Yeah.
Where you're trying to focus, but there's blue. So you take I don't know if it's 1,000 megs or 100 megs, whatever it may be, like minimal. And it helps with blue.
I've never actually heard of that.
It's food for the brain, they say.
Yeah.
Alpha GPC.
I'll look into that. That sounds like a good one. I actually need that.
Yeah.
Especially when cortisol is up, when dieting. When your cortisol goes up, that's when brain fog actually really occurs. That'll be a good one. I haven't actually heard of that.
How do you combat your cortisol levels when they rise?
Rest. When your cortisol levels are up, have a day where you do nothing.
What do you think of heat and cold contrast therapies?
I love it. I
It
love
works?
ice baths.
It works.
I love ice baths.
Is it true, because this is another misconception, that ice bath after weight training is counterproductive?
In terms of what?
So you'll be at risk of atrophy. If you go do
Losing
squats,
muscle?
Yeah.
No.
It's not true?
That's not true, no. No, that's not true. It's a lot of misconceptions.
So
misconceptions. Like if you Google something, I got a headache. Oh, you have cancer. You got what I mean? So like my mum, for example, every time she's sick, I tell mum, please do not Google it. Please, are you going to stress yourself out for no reason? Because Google goes to the extreme. It goes like really to the extreme.
And then you got ChatGPT.
Even worse. And you got like people saying that cold therapy can go against weight training. There's a lot of, I'll tell you something that's going on as well within the nutrition field and personal training. There's a lot of social media influencers that come on and they come up with their own sort of ideology to gain followers. If I go now and I say something that no one has said, people are going to follow me. Like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. I'll follow him and I'll start listening to him. It's not necessarily true. A lot of people just do it to gain the followers, and they can be making things up. You never know.
How do you do your ice baths?
It depends. Usually I do 3 minutes in, and then like 1 minute hot. 3 minutes in the cold, 1 minute hot.
You go to a center that does cold plunge?
Yeah. So we go to a place where it has the cold plunge, and it has like a sauna right next to it.
That's right.
So I'll go in between the cold and the sauna.
When I was training and trying to take my training more seriously, not an athlete, but just more seriously, I went to a place that would have a cold plunge and a hot plunge.
Yeah.
And you do 3 minutes in and a minute and a half or
It's the
minute
best.
hot.
Yeah.
But then I was told through research that cold plunge directly after weight training leads to atrophy, which is the opposite of hypertrophy, as you know, and that leads to losing muscle. So then I slowed down on the cold plunges.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Okay.
Anything recovery is what grows muscle. So when you're training, it tears the muscle fibers. When you recover, that brings it back and becomes bigger. That's why people, when they don't recover, they don't see growth because they're not letting the muscle recover. Ice bath is just helping you recover, and it's bringing the cortisol level down. So
what about that therapy, the cold one? You go in the, what's it called?
Cryotherapy.
Cryotherapy. What about cryotherapy?
Even with that, there's a lot of misconceptions about that.
Okay.
So I'll tell you something about that as well. That machine costs $100,000.
That's right.
So the places that get that, like the centers that buy that machine, they make up all these things to game people. Like you're going to burn 800 calories in 3 minutes. That's crazy. You'll burn it, but yeah, you'll burn some calories because your body's cold and it burns calories. But it starts making people think that they're going to get skinny from going to cryotherapy. That's not true. Yes, it reduces inflammation, reduces injuries, reduces cortisol. But me, I'm an old school person. I prefer just sitting in the ice bath.
Cold plunge.
If I can feel it and I'm in there, I feel like it's just, there's more benefits than actually going to a machine.
You have people pushing the cold plunge, but then they take it to the next level where they're at risk of having hypothermia.
There's extremes for everything.
So we have to be moderate when using the ice bath. We have to be in the middle.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just like our diet. Like I say, you don't want to be too strict. You don't want to be too lenient. You want to enjoy some stuff.
Yeah.
So people take it to the extreme. Ice bath is there just for recovery. You don't need to go in and put your head in and stay in for 10 minutes.
Nah.
It becomes dangerous.
I do 3 minutes. If I'm feeling really, really good, enjoying it, maybe 4. Sometimes when you're having a conversation with someone,
You forget about it.
You forget about it, and then it leads to about 4 to 5 max.
I say 5 is max.
Yeah, max. But 3 minutes I feel like is ideal.
3 minutes is perfect.
And sauna?
Sauna, that's another misconception where people think that sauna is going to make you skinny. When you're in the sauna, you're not burning fat. Burning fat is purely calories in versus calories out. So eating less calories than your body needs, than the amount of calories you burn in a day, is what makes you burn fat. Being in a confined environment where it's hot is not going to make you burn fat. It makes you lose the water. So I'll go before fights just to lose the water.
Okay.
Just to extract the water out of me.
Infrared? Traditional or infrared?
There's not many infrared in Melbourne, so I'd just go traditional. Infrared is better. It penetrates the skin.
It is better?
It is better.
But you're sitting behind light and Bluetooth or whatever it
Yes.
is, infrared. You're sitting behind infrared.
It's true, but in terms of the results, infrared actually penetrates the body. So the traditional is just steam hitting you. So it can become, like you can get claustrophobic. You can probably not breathe properly. You'll find that it's a lot harder. Infrared, you can sit for an hour and just sweat it out without actually feeling it because it's just light hitting you. I know what you're saying in terms of the lights. Yes, traditional is probably better in that sense. But in terms of being able to sit in the sauna and be comfortable, infrared is a lot more comfortable sitting.
Okay. So you said let's say you're sitting in an infrared sauna, your goal isn't there to lose weight by sitting for the hour in the sauna session.
Not fat. You're not going to be. You won't lose fat in the sauna.
No, you
won't lose fat.
This is a statement. You won't lose fat in the sauna.
This is my statement. You
Okay.
won't lose fat other than calories in versus calories out. Whether that's burning more calories through training or eating less calories through your diet.
Another misconception is if you want to lose weight, stay away from the carbs.
Oh no,
That's
I love
a cringe.
carbs. I hate when people say that. Like when people tell me, "Oh, I'm going on keto."
Yeah, what do you think of keto?
I can't stand keto.
What if someone tells you, I'm in ketosis and I'm losing weight?
You're losing weight. Yeah, you're going to lose weight. You're in calorie deficit. That's a whole macronutrient, sorry, that you're not having. Each gram of carbs has like 4 calories. So if you're eating 100 calories, 100 grams of carbs a day, that's how many calories. So yes, you're going to lose weight for sure. But is it good weight? Is it a good amount? Like, is it a sustainable weight that you're losing? No, because as soon as you start eating properly again, the body's just going to eat it again.
You know, I thought this interview, because all my interviews, alhamdulillah, are off the cuff, unscripted conversation. all my podcast sessions, sorry, I thought this one was going to be about boxing, but your knowledge in the field, mashallah, is so diverse. I'm just loving picking your brain.
Yeah, look, when I first started gym when I was 18 years old, because I came back from Spain, I was always a bit chubby. Growing up, I was always a fatter boy, like a big boy. I had a stomach and everything.
Being a keeper too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're able to jump to the right post and left post?
So I was able to jump.
Mashallah.
I was always a short, stubby kid. Like I was able to jump. But that's another thing. Like a lot of people used to be like, he's too short to be a keeper.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump and they're like, okay, we'll leave him.
Because if I'm a sweeper and I've just made a break from the defense line and seeing you there, I'd think, oh, I'm going to chip him.
Yeah.
But you would looks can be deceiving.
It can be. But so when I started gym, I'm the type of person, if I want to do something, I do it properly or else I won't do it.
You're all in.
I'm all in. Okay, so I'll give my whole time. That's what happened with boxing, and alhamdulillah, I got to where I am now. So if I want to do something, I'll do it the best I can, or else I won't waste my time doing it. I was like that from a little kid. I was raised like that. My dad instilled that into me growing up. He's like, if you're going to do something, do it properly or don't waste your time. So I started doing my own research. I followed a lot of wrong tracks through Google, social medias. And then I started realizing a lot of these social media, like athletes or whatever you want to call influencers, a lot of them on steroids. And they say they're not to gain the followers or gain the clients, whatever they're doing. But a lot of them are injecting, and that's the sad truth about, that's the reality, the sad reality of the world. So that's when I started doing my own research. It's like actually looking into doctors, not really athletes, not influencers, not coaches.
Doctors in the field.
Doctors in the field, yeah. Like looking at people, PhDs, and seeing what they're saying. And then doing my own research, doing my own studies. And then obviously university, human physiology and anatomy, we learn about the actual body. So then I started implementing my own sort of things. Like, yeah, the body works like this, then you have to do this. So there's a lot of methods I have that I've come up with that a lot of other coaches don't actually know. And I was able to implement that within like the last 5 years. I was just my own studies, seeing how the body works, seeing how food works, and seeing how everything is processed within the body, and just coming up with something that will work for that.
So if we're looking at energy systems, which you would have covered for sure in your degree, you have the ATP, energy, glycogen, and then you go into fat burning. And now there's this whole drive on social media about energy system. If you want to skip the glycogen stores and go straight to fat burning, you need to go on the treadmill for zone 2 for 30 minutes of zone 2, which is your heart rate at around 120.
It's 120 to 140, I'm pretty sure.
Is that a misconception as well?
All right, I'm going to make another statement for you all today.
Another mic drop. Let's go. Bang.
You lose weight purely calories in versus calories out.
So what's this whole zone 2?
Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate.
You have to say that again. You have to say that again.
Do not overcomplicate. It's the most simple thing in the world. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing's easy. Nothing worth having is easy to get. That's my main thing in life.
Another mic drop.
That's my main thing.
That's your motto.
That's my motto. That's why whenever I'm struggling to do something, I'll just think about the end goal. But nothing, like, it's so simple. Eat less, train more. Or keep training the same, eat less.
What do you think of intermittent fasting?
I love intermittent fasting.
Do you, there's a guy who I follow, and he laughs at intermittent fasting, but how does he laugh at it? He says you're just basically in a time restricted phase. You're not really banning yourself from eating, and you're just limiting the calories you eat in a certain time in the window, your eating window. Yeah. Because some people, when they do intermittent fasting, if they don't literally break their fast on 16/8 or whatever the window is, they go into depression almost.
I laugh at that. That's what I mean. I laugh at that. Yes, that's not. I don't do that at all. Intermittent fasting is purely to restrict your eating window. Me personally, if I eat at 7 a.m., I'm going to get hungry again at 8 a.m.
That's right.
It's because as soon as you eat, you spike your insulin, and your enzymes to break down the food comes out, like ghrelin, leptin. That's when they all start playing a role. So as soon a lot of people, like in Ramadan, for example, you're not hungry all day. As soon as you have a date, you start getting hungry because your body's breaking down the food. And when you're breaking down food, you're burning calories, and enzymes are playing a part. Your hormones are coming out. That's when your body starts wanting more food. So when I eat at 7 a.m., I'm getting hungry again straight away. If I don't eat till 1 p.m., I'm not hungry till 1 p.m. Generally, sorry.
That's what's happened to me when I did intermittent fasting. I would skip breakfast, coffee, water, and then I won't get. It became the norm where by 1 I'm hungry.
That's what happens to me.
Okay.
That's what happens to me. I generally can't eat in the morning,
Yeah, I prefer to skip breakfast now.
It feels better. So, yeah, like 18/8 or whatever they do. No, that's another misconception. That's a whole another thing. But intermittent fasting in terms of like what it does for the body, it is beneficial. Like hormone, like Ramadan, the fasting in Ramadan is the best fasting we can do, but the amount of benefits you get from fasting for that month is unreal. And that's why I've implemented it into my life. Like fasting in the morning and just having water and a coffee, it helps your cells regroup. It helps your brain actually focus on what you need to do in the morning. Because when you eat, your body is everywhere. So
Mashallah.
yeah, it restricts your time frame, so you can eat less calories in the day and have bigger meals. Because I'm personally someone that has big meals. I'm a hungry man, so I eat a lot. So I'd rather have big meals rather than have like 10 small meals.
What about a 3-day water fast or a 72-hour, 48-hour water fast?
Depends on why you're doing it.
People claim that if you do it, you're cleansing your body and you're detoxing your body.
You are.
You are?
Yeah. When your body is not coming, like bringing food in, it focuses on other aspects of the body.
So if I were to do a 3-day water fast, okay, what's the protocol you give me? And I still want to weight train or maybe do my cardio. I want to do some form of physical activity during a 3-day water fast. What protocols would you give me?
All right, look, 3 days is excessive. I'd say start with 1, then go 2, and then go 3. A lot of people jump straight to 3 and then they complain that it's too hard. You can't jump straight into the deep end. Easy way into it. I've personally never done a 3-day fast. The most I've done is 1 day.
24 hours?
24 hours. And it feels really good. It feels amazing.
So
Wake up the next day feeling really good.
If I start my water fast at 7 a.m., what time do I break it?
7 a.m. the next day.
Okay. And do I just go into a meal or do I just or have preferably bone broth or a lighter meal?
Yeah, it's better to have like some sort of a soup first. Just not even a soup, just a small dry sort of food. Let the body digest it and then start eating. Because your body hasn't digested food in how long? And the enzymes are all over the place. So it is better to just introduce something and then start eating.
Okay.
But water fasts are really good. It helps your body. It helps your body cleanse.
Okay. Let's say I've done a 24-hour water fast and I would like to test myself and do a 3-day water fast.
Push yourself.
Would I be able to train?
Yeah. There's no, like, back in the old days, when cavemen, let's say, they used to get food once a week maybe. Sometimes once every...
So they were living off 7-day water fasts?
Yeah, they were living off no food. Now we're in a, sorry to say, but we're in a very weak generation where people think if you don't eat, you can't train. If you don't eat, you can't do this. They used to walk at 10 Ks a day probably.
You know, one of my sheikhs, a notable scholar, when he advised, he used to advise constantly, and a memo would come out from where he was residing to this country about things we should be aware of and advice. One of the ones he'd always reiterate in different ways with taqleel min at-tana'um, that means limit the indulging, whether it's overindulgence in food, overindulgence in dessert, overindulgence in worldly matters, limit it as much as you can, even if you're wealthy. And subhanAllah, look what you just said.
Of course. I think we're in a generation where we think we're strong, but when we compare ourselves to the old days, like our Sahaba, they used to, how much did they walk? They didn't eat every couple of hours. 10,000
steps was nothing.
Yeah, they used to lift and train, like go to war. Sometimes they go to war fasted. So no, we don't need food every hour. Yes, food is important, but if you do a fast, you can still train. Obviously, there's limits. Like, I'm not going to say go run 20 Ks. Your body will break down, but you just need to be strategic. Maybe change it up a bit, but don't sit down and do nothing. Because
when you do your 5K running, do you do it on the treadmill or on the surface or on the road, in the park? Usually, what do you prefer if you were to get out and do 5Ks?
I prefer outdoor.
Okay.
Because treadmill's really boring. I get into my brain, I start getting depressed, thinking about life. Like, you're literally just there in front of
a mirror,
looking at yourself. I start looking at flaws on my face. Like, but I don't know if you know, weather in Melbourne
it's terrible.
Is shocking. So if it's raining, there's not much running I can do outdoors. I just go on the treadmill. When the sun's out, which is once a year, I'm outdoors.
Okay. And what kind of surface do you run on?
Just flat. Just flat.
Your heart rate, do you try to keep it steady at a certain level? Do you sprint, walk? So do you sprint, jog, walk, or just go out and run?
Just a jog.
So you don't overcomplicate it, right?
I don't overcomplicate anything. Man, life is simple.
Okay.
It's just like a religion. People will complicate it and make it hard. It's the most simple thing in the world. Everything's just keep it as simple as you can. You get the results.
Okay.
Once you overcomplicate it, you overstress it, and then the body, like, everything's simple. Nutrition is simple. Training is simple. Life in general should be simple. It's not complicated.
You sound like a simple man.
it's the easiest way to live. It's the easiest way to live, and you'll find that you don't.
So for the layman person, for someone who wants to go into training with minimal training, how would you advise them to get fit, strong, and healthy?
So starting fresh, I would say start with the basics.
Okay.
All right, come in, do your basic lifts. If you can get a coach, if you can afford a coach, not many people can. If you can get a coach, let him teach you the proper technique, because technique comes before anything. Technique and form before any sort of weight.
You said weights is only 3 times a week, really?
That depends on the goal. If you're purely trying to grow muscle and you want to change your physique, no, you probably, 3 you can get away with, but it is better to do more.
Okay.
Someone starting up fresh, 3 is enough when you're fresh. But later on down the track, you do need to add some more. Just change the body up. But a lot of my clients are actually on 3 days a week. 3 days a week is fine.
What's the biggest setback you've experienced in your life?
In general, I've had quite a few. So the injury for soccer. This year, I started the year. So a big change in life was my father. He had an accident at the start of the year. And it was a bit hard. Like going through that was a bit hard. But my family was strong. Like we stuck together.
How is he now?
And he's getting better, alhamdulillah. He's still in pain.
Crash.
He fell off the roof at
Allahu
work.
Akbar.
Broke his back and his neck. So I'll say it wasn't a setback, but it was
It was hard.
It was a wake up call. Like you got to appreciate your parents a lot more than you should. A lot of people now, they take it for granted. You shouldn't. It was a wake up call. It wasn't really a setback. I haven't really had a major setback. Alhamdulillah, life has been pretty good, but a lot of wake up calls, I'd say.
I believe that breaking your pelvis is a major setback.
In terms of injuries, in terms of sports, yes, that was big. I couldn't run for 6 months.
Did you ever think that you wouldn't be able to run?
No, and I never had that mindset. I was pretty strong.
Did you put yourself on the recovery plan?
Nope. I didn't recover. I didn't do rehab.
Oh, you didn't do rehab?
No.
Wow.
I'm a very stubborn kid.
Okay.
They told me 6 months no running. In 3 months I started training.
What's your plans for going into turning pro?
So my plan was to have around 7 fights this year, 5 fights at minimum, and subhanAllah, it just didn't work out. Like every time I got a fight, they pull out, or the fight got cancelled. I've had 7 pullouts this year. There was one fight I was ready for the fight, and then a week before I was training, and I just tore my bicep.
Oh, subhanAllah.
So since my last fight was last December, which was the Australian title fight, and I became Australian champion, and I was like, next year I'm turning pro, and I'm just gonna smash it out. I want to have 5 fights and start getting my name up, start getting sponsors. Every time I got a fight, it got cancelled. I won't get matched up. They can't match me up. So inshallah, now I was meant to fight now on November 14 or November 15 or something. The show got cancelled. So inshallah, December 14 or 15, December 15 is my next fight.
Where?
In Melbourne Pavilion. So that'll be my professional debut. So I'm signed as a professional. I signed the papers and everything. I just haven't been able to get a fight yet.
How do I get a ticket?
Through me.
Oh,
I'll
beautiful.
get the tickets. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll get the tickets.
I want to try my best to watch that, inshallah.
It will be good.
What's your goal for next year as a professional athlete?
If everything goes to plan?
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah, I want to fight every 2-3 months. If everything goes to plan, I want to fight as much as I can. Just get my name out. Get my name out and just do the best I can. I don't have an end goal. I just want to do the best I can. The best I can.
Try your best while running your business.
Yes, exactly. If I become Australian champion in professionals, I'll do it. If I can become world champion, I'll do it. If I become Victorian champion, I'm happy with that.
So move away, Zarafa. We have Khaled Youssef coming around.
Inshallah.
He's been running his mouth, hasn't he?
Michael Zarafa?
Yeah.
Look, he's a nice guy.
Is it all for show?
It's all for show. I know the guy personally.
Oh, you know
I'm very
him?
good with him. Yeah,
No
yeah.
way.
I'm very, very good with him.
He wants a zoo fight, doesn't he?
He does, but then again, it's a business.
But the way he's called him out though is pretty smart. Smart in the fact that he's got his attention now. Apparently, it's in the works.
I can guarantee you, if they're with each other, they'll shake hands.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I've seen Tim off camera. A very nice guy.
They're
under
very
the
nice
radar
guys.
too.
Yeah,
Quiet.
very nice guys. It's all like Michael Zarafa is probably a very hated man on social media. You see the comments, but his last fight, he probably made $500,000 just because people are watching him. Even if they're watching him see him get knocked out, at the end of the day, he's winning. He's getting all the money from all the streams.
Do you think that fight will happen?
It'll be a good fight.
And if it does happen, can we see you on the card?
That'll be good. Inshallah.
Is that the plan?
Inshallah, yeah.
Inshallah.
No limit. It's a good good show to fight on.
People fight No Limit. Hopefully one day we'll see you on a No Limit card.
Inshallah.
We'll see you headlining a card in Australia.
That'll be amazing.
And did you fight MMA?
No, I don't fight MMA.
Okay.
No. So I would have done kickboxing, but because of my pelvis, I can't kick. But my best friend, he's the kickboxer.
Okay.
So I'm the boxer, he's the
He's the
kickboxer.
kickboxer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's one message you'd leave for those who experience injuries like yourself, less or more? The mindset shift.
Everything happens for a reason. Allah is the best planner. So
We know the saying, أنت تريد وأنا أريد والله يفعل ما يريد. You would like to do something, I would like to do something, but at the end of the day, whatever is will to be, shall be.
exactly, and that's why like me not fighting this year hasn't really got to me. Like it upsets me, but keeps me like I still keep going because that's the mentality I have.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, like it's an amazing mentality to have.
Khaled, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the Chronicles of Faith.
Thank you. It was amazing being here.
I appreciate that. And I promise you next year before Ramadan, either you come to the studio or I will fly out to Melbourne and we will do a pod about fasting, Ramadan, training.
Yes, that'll be amazing. That'll be perfect.
And hopefully regarding your win in December.
Inshallah. Yes,
Yes,
that'll be perfect.
all the best.